I am a Black American and I absolutely love to travel to the continent of.
This is for the African Americans who think exactly like her, because I know it's not all of you. Whenever you decide to buy a ticket and visit another country, predominantly Africa or the Caribbean, can you please make sure to leave that stereotypical mindset that was inflicted upon you by these white people that oppressed you at the door before you enter? And if you can't do that, simply don't go. A girl went to Africa and someone got injured. Oh my God, someone got injured. Someone's phone got stolen. Oh my God, someone's phone got stolen. Sweetheart, you are from a country where a teenager can go to Walmart and buy a gun. America has the highest number of serial killers. You are from a country where when a white teenager feels depressed, he goes and shoots up a school. You are from a country where people who look exactly like you get murdered in broad daylight with all the evidence to show that they were actually murdered and never get any justice. So please explain to me how you can boldly acknowledge crime or incidents elsewhere, but you can't notice it in your own backyard. So crazy to me how the Western world have conditioned and convinced themselves and the people in their community to believe that crime exists everywhere else apart from the Western world. No, because let me do this again. Did people not die at Ariana Grande's concert in Manchester, England? Did Kim Kardashian not get robbed at gunpoint in Paris? And yet you still only acknowledge that crime exists in Africa? Some of these people are the same ones who will come on social media and make these stereotypical jokes about Africa, about the fact that Africa doesn't have any water. Meanwhile, Michigan don't have none neither. You lot will come on this app and stay shouting about how they live in mud huts and how they live in trees, but will never take a moment to look at the statistics of homelessness in LA and New York. People like you will come on this app and stay preaching and talking about how impoverished and poor and disadvantaged and how sad it is to be African and live in Africa because of how Africa is. Meanwhile, you're getting oppressed in your own country. Believe it or not, it's the same way when some of them go to the Caribbean. And you know, funny enough, same thing happens in Jamaica. Same thing. If you ever travel to Jamaica, just make friends with one of the staff at the hotel and ask them the worst guests who visit, and they will boldly tell you African Americans. And you wonder why some Caribbeans and Africans simply just don't like some of you. Because you lot come here and stay in other people's business and stay talking shit, knocking your cent against somebody else's dollar. You lot can really stay at the land of the free that ain't free. You really can stay there. Nobody's begging you to carry your bag and come. Do you understand? Don't buy tickets. Stay home. Good night.
I've seen a lot of Black Americans asking why Africans hate them, and I'm going to answer the question for you. Number one, this American ego transcends race. It doesn't matter if you're white American, brown American, or Black American. There seems to be like this ego that makes you think that you are the main character wherever you go. Therefore, when you go to places in Africa, you get surprised when you're treated like just another tourist. I've heard people saying stuff like, they only cared about my dollars. Yeah, this is a supermarket. You've gone there expecting a kinship and connection with people whose history diverges from your history. When those slave ships took off, the countries that, you came from, they went on. There were still things happening to them, and there's still things happening to them today. Your history isn't as shared as you think that it is. There isn't this kind of Black kind of community in a lot of countries in Africa because everyone's Black. I would get it if you were in Sweden and you're walking past another Black person and they didn't smile at you and it's like, we are the only Black people here, like in this city. I'd get it. But you can't go to Africa and expect Black people to care that you're Black. And also, it's not a hate of Black Americans. There's a hatred of Americans in general. A lot of places do not have a great history with America. And while it's very much clear to us that we can live in countries like England with terrible histories and who are right now selling billions of pounds and arming places like Israel, we can understand that within these countries there are different politics, there's different dynamics, there's still social hierarchies. You cannot expect people who are on the receiving end of the violence of the countries that we live in to care that we are not at the top of the social hierarchy here. But I get called European child by my own relatives who I am literally biologically related to. Because nobody cares, because I was raised in Europe, so I might as well be white to them. You can't go to other countries and bring the race dynamics of your countries to theirs. And there are places where you go where people won't treat you like that. People will accept you and will be like, oh, I'm so happy that you're here. But you guys keep going to places that are heavily populated by tourists, by American soldiers, and a lot of these American soldiers are black. And then you're acting surprised when people aren't that, shocked and happy to see you. So to conclude, it's not that they hate you, it's that they don't care about you.
Hello tribe, welcome to this particular show. I go by Sherlock in case you bumped across it accidentally. Now, let's talk about a topic that has been bubbling under the surface for far too long. The complicated and often misunderstood relationship between African Americans and Africans. It is a conversation loaded with emotions, history, and a lot of misconceptions. But why does this tension exist? And what can we do about it? When African American visits Africa or African countries, some carry with them the stereotypes with them that are shaped by the Western, making, and that is media, to be more precise. Now, these particular portrayals of Africans as a place of poverty, danger, and backwardness. When an incident like the one that we just listened, the very first instance, a stolen phone, happens, it is exaggerated because it aligns with the preconceptions. But let's keep it real. Crime exists everywhere. In America, mass shootings, racial violence, and systemic injustices are everyday reality. So why is it that when something happens in Africa, it is seen as a confirmation of everything negative, but when the same or happens in America, it's just brushed over as, normal? Join me, because you're going to listen from different quarters, different sentiments that are going to be made by different people. And of course, as usual, guys, stay put, because I'll circle back at the end of this particular show with more sentiments and more insightful critical analysis over the same. Let's keep on watching.
When you think about it, the complexity of the colonial systems is actually insane. And these people made sure the systems reinforce each other. They back up each other. There's no way you're going to break out of this matrix. Poverty exists because of, let me name the simple three: religion. Religion makes the poor man understand or believe that he's deserving of what's happening to him. He can't kill the rich man, and his riches are not on earth. His riches are in heaven, even though God already gave them the riches on earth. Okay, sharp. Second is law. Law is morally influenced, religiously influenced, because a lot of things are wrong because they're wrong morally. Therefore, they are then you can't kill, you can't steal, you can't. Some of them are morally influenced, so they back up. Law backs up religion or religion backs up law, whatever the case may be. You can't kill the rich man, you can't steal from the rich man, even though the rich man is using you to make his money. Imagine that. You can't kill, you can't steal, even though that's what happened. In order for us to be in this position, they killed and stole. Okay, sharp. The third one, education. Education is not the rich man versus the poor man. Education is just the poor man against themselves. All of y'all, if you are in the education system, you're poor. I'm sorry to let you know this. You're poor. You're just the best slave. There's a hierarchy of education, and once you get to the top, you basically a qualified slave. You make the most money because you're the most qualified slave. You're obedient. You follow instructions. You're punctual. That's what school is for. They condition you to be slaves. Literally, you go to school, you wake up at a certain time, you dress a particular type of way, you have to behave a certain type of way. There's also rules and laws in school to teach you how to conduct yourself in a professional space, which is working a job. That's why you can't get a job without matric, because you are not fully qualified. It's this one, they couldn't even finish basic school. They won't make it here. They can't be a proper slave. I'm actually tired, bro. I'm not gonna lie. And then on top of that, we have to follow this is a white man's world. We follow their traditions, their ways of living. That's why so many of y'all have depression and HDA, all these freaking mental illnesses, because this is not how you're supposed to be living. Your body is literally it can't take it. It can't take it. That's why so many of y'all have anger issues. That's why there's so much violence and anger. Everyone is angry. No one is happy. Everyone is angry. because this is not how you're supposed to be living. And I don't blame you guys. I'm tired as well. And then on top of that, you have to pay someone to listen to your issues. They say go to therapy so you can pay someone to listen to your experiences. There's no fucking way, guys. This is not the life God intended for us to live. I am so sorry. That's why, like, even praying for a job is like, I'm sure God is like, you praying for a what? I gave you water and fruits and everything you need. You praying for a what? I can't do this shit, man. I generally can't. Like, it's exhausting.
I've seen a lot of comments of this variety, yet no one expounds or goes into details about the ways in which she is using Black American culture. What aspects of Black American culture do you and others feel she is appropriating or using? When people say this, typically they're talking about the way someone talks or their aesthetics. If you've heard Tyla talk, Tyla is South African, and that comes through very clearly in the way she speaks and in how she even sings. It comes through in how she carries herself, her mannerisms. Tyla is very South African. If you're going to use her aesthetics or how she presents to say she is using Black American culture, what is it, the braids? Like, I really want so badly to encourage people to travel, because not only is it an experience that will enrich your lives, but it will also broaden your understanding of the world. A lot of the ways in which we receive and understand the world is through our own personal experiences, because we are the center of our own world. So if you are an American, America is the center of your world. However, America is not the center of the world. And that is the biggest difference. When you travel more, you will understand this. When you get to know other people's cultures and how they present, and even different aesthetics and subcultures in different countries, you will realize that maybe what you ascribe to your own personal culture in this particular case, Black culture, is not exclusive to Black Americans and Black culture. So again, going back to Tyla's aesthetics and the way she presents herself, what is it, the braids? Because again, Tyla is a South African woman, and we constantly see her in cornrows. Go check her Instagram. Baby girl been in cornrows. She's been in cornrows before she became mainstream and crossed over to American culture. Is it the gem in her tooth? Because I was in South Africa last month, and I saw a lot of people with not only gems in their teeth, but gold teeth, to the point that I was like, maybe am I missing something? Do I need to come back? And when I get back home, I need to put a gem in my tooth? Like, I thought it was wavy. I loved it. But if you are only experiencing gems in teeth, gold teeth, grills, if your only understanding of it is American culture, specifically Black American culture, it is easy to look at her and be like, oh, she's using Black culture, she's appropriating Black American culture, when that's not the case. It's just you have no understanding of cultures outside of your own. Is it the artist she's collaborating with? You know, Black American rappers, Gunna and Travis Scott. Well, she also collabs with Thames and Ira Star, who are Afrobeats artists. So now is she using Nigerian culture? Is she using Afrobeats to be a part of Nigerian culture? She also collaborated with Becky G. Is she using a Latina woman to try to appropriate or use Latin culture? What are we talking about here? Is it the water dance, which many Americans would automatically receive as twerking? However, it is actually a dance of South African origin, the Barkhadi dance. When she was on the Kai Cenat show and she was trying to teach him how to do the dance, and then when she gets to that part where you're pouring the water and doing the Barkhadi dance, what she said was, okay, now you twerk, because she understood she was speaking to an American audience, and the way they would understand what she was trying to say is to refer to it as a twerking dance. And while twerking is associated with Black American culture, hip hop culture, dancing culture, it is actually a dance of the African diaspora that originated in Africa. So again, this comment that I'm responding to, it's not new. I've seen a lot of people say she is using Black American culture. No one has expressed how. So how is Tyla using Black American culture? How?
They are the kindest, most sincere people I've ever been around, ever. Forget everything you've ever heard. After you go to Africa, you got to go to Ghana first, then you need to go to Botswana, because you need to see Botswana is the second richest diamond producer nation in the world. Them Black people over there got something. And then you got to go to Johannesburg. That's what you got to do that jump right there. Once you see that, you'll understand who we are. Them Africans ain't stole nothing from us. They talk about Burna Boy stole this. No, we stole from Burna Boy. Them Africans is us, man. They the beat, they the rhythm, they the soul, they the hard work. We get our courage from them. When you see them people, they look just like your family. They walk like us. They look like us. They got moves like us. It's just, you gotta see it. And we gotta, my goal is to help bridge this gap, because we got to touch base with them, because they love y'all, man. You don't even know. They think y'all to catch me out. They think y'all to lick. You know why? Because they know what you went through. They know where them slave ship picked you up at. They know they brought you to a land. They know what they did to you. And y'all still over here shining. If we take this shine back over there and give them the love and teach them that dust, we'd have a powerful union.
Also, didn't Africans sell their own people to America as slaves? Yes, but Africans at that time didn't really view themselves as one people, right? So for the same reasons that Germans and the French don't view themselves as the same people, Africans at that time did not view themselves as the same people. I'm not even sure if they knew there were other races of people. So with that being said, right, they were capturing each other, enslaving each other, or capturing each other and selling them to other people for different types of goods. Now, does it make it right? No. Is there an excuse for it? No. Do many Black Americans a day want to just nicely gloss over that like that never happened? Yes. And again, so many people in today's society want to act as if white people were the only people to do anything bad ever, and that's not the truth. So for educational purposes, let's go through some history. Okay, so for starters, we all know what happened in Germany. We all know who did it, Germans. Okay, but what about the Armenian genocide in 1915 and 1923? Or the Rwandan genocide in 1994? Or the Cambodian genocide in 1975? Well, really, it was between 1975 and 1979. My point is, every race of people seemingly have done terrible things. So I do not understand why we only want to act like white people were the only people to ever do anything, because all you got to do is pick up a history book or Google some stuff and you will see that it's not even close to true. And I just gave you a couple examples. There are probably hundreds of them. So again, let's realize that all races of people have done bad things, and let's move on. Let's start building our lives together. It's not that difficult. I don't know why so many people want to complicate it and turn things that don't need to be issues into issues. Okay, and also go back to the beginning of the video when I was talking about Africans not viewing themselves as the same people. What I was trying to say is that skin color wasn't really something that tied them together, for lack of better terms. So it wasn't as much of importance then as it is today with a lot of races.
Oh, have you noticed that Black Americans don't think anyone else is black apart from them? Can't lie, man. Being English, I'm thankful sometimes, because the accent that you gave me, it saves me across the world, fam. Before they think I'm a typical you guys will say something that lets me know I am different to you. There was one time we went to New York and me and my brother just crossed the road anyhow. When we crossed the street, one policeman stopped us. Excuse me, sirs. Y'all can't cross the street like that. Y'all can't cross the street like that. Obviously, me and my brother are just kids. So we've told him like, oh, we didn't know we can't cross the street like that. We're sorry, we're not from here. Do you know what the policeman said to us? Do you know what he said? He said, man, I like that accent. Y'all free to go. Y'all free to go. I thought y'all was black. In our face, he said that he thought we were black. So what am I then? You're not black. You can't be black. Y'all British blacks be crazy as fuck, man. How the fuck y'all be black, British, African at the same time? How you do that shit, man? Make up your mind, fool.
Africans, do you know why the main goal of colonization was to totally depopulate and involuntarily mix the entire African continent in order to repopulate it with other races? Well, I have a message for black people. So if you're not black, you can stay. But if you're black, I want you to listen and listen good. The reason why history repeats itself is because the world is cyclic and whatever goes around must come back around. There was a time that Africa ruled Europe for 800 years. And when I say ruled, I don't mean with guns and ammunition, but with knowledge, love, light, and black excellence. So now, I want you, black child, to know that we have cycled back to that time. A time when the kingdom of God belongs to the poor and the slaves, and mine is just to cut and raise. Yours is to step into your awareness of self. Yours is to go back within and get into union with your ancestors, your DNA. Get your ancestral membership back and remember all that you are. Because among you are the descendants of the likes of Mansa Musa, kings, queens. Among you are the DNA of the Talai, the tribe of the Lion of Judah. Among you are the inventors of the hieroglyphics. Among you are the architectures of the Great Pyramids, the incredible mathematics of the Ishango bone. Among you are the DNA of the Moors, the teachers of all modern European technology. Among you are the DNA that mentored great European philosophers like Pythagoras. As a black person, the DNA of slavery and colonization is not the only DNA that you carry, and they know that. The ancient, great African civilization is still present and imprinted deep in your soul. They can ban all the books and ruin all the universities, but your DNA is present. Your memory is present. Your ancestral knowledge is present deep in your soul and is yours forever. All I want to say is that there was a time they wanted to wipe you all off or mix you all up, so there was no one left to remember. There was a time that remembering who you are would have been a great crime, and so the ancestors had you forget to protect you. But I'm here to assure you that it is now safe to remember the African royalties among you. It is time for black people to experience the excellence of their own blackness. It is time to awaken the extreme talents and excellence that are deeply rooted within you. It is now safe to show the world who you are. Go within and remember. Join into one with your ancestors.
Hello tribe, I told you that I'll circle back with more comments and more sentiments over the same. Here I go, but I also do stand corrected. Do drop me it because it has always been my opinion. Let me know what you think on the comment section and let's keep the conversation alive. So therefore, this particular misunderstood connection, many African Americans visit Africa seeking that particular sense of home and kinship, and that's a beautiful thing. But the truth is, while there is a shared ancestry, our histories have taken very different paths. Now, African countries continue to evolve after their own cultures, struggles, and of course, triumphs. Now, for many Africans, being black is not an identity marker per se, like it is in the West. It's just the norm. So when African, Americans expect an instant brotherhood based on solely on skin color, they might not even met with indifferences. They might be met with indifferences, not because of hate, but because of the context. It's totally different. So let's address the elephant in the room, the American ego. It transcends race. Yeah, whether white, black, or brown, many Americans carry a sense of self-importance when traveling. Now, this attitude can sometimes make African Americans expect special treatment in African countries, and when it backfires, yeah. So a warmth and a recognition that they don't always receive. When locals treat them like any other tourist, it feels like a cold shoulder. But does not hate. It's reality. It's not just about race, it's also about politics and history. America's global influence hasn't always been positive, and many African countries have had strained relationships with the US. That distrust can sometimes extend to American tourists, regardless of their skin color. Despite these particular tensions, there's so much beauty in connecting with the motherland. African countries like Ghana, Botswana, and South Africa are rich with culture, history, and innovation. African people are warm, resilient, and of course vibrant. And the music, the rhythm, the hard work, it's all there. And when African Americans visit with an open mind and heart, they often find reflections of themselves in the people, the food, and of course the spirit. But again, guys, as usual, that has always been my opinion. I also do stand corrected. Let me know of your thoughts on the comment section. Do not hesitate to, guys, do dropping me that tiny little comment down. That makes me feel good. And above all, tribe, I need you to stay up tuned because there is more lined up of the same. Signing out for now.